Okay, everyone, I'm ready. Always zero audience. What is going on? Okay, let's start with let's start with um, chocolate cake by Michael Rosen. Okay, just wait. Wait till it's downloaded. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Okay, let's start. Chocolate cake. Quick, let's get out of here. I love chocolate cake, and when I was a boy, I love it even more. Sometimes we used to have it for tea, and Mom used to say, "If there's any left over, you can have it to take it to school tomorrow to have a playtime." And the next day, I will take it to school wrapped up to, in tin foil, open it up at playtime, and sit it in the corner of the playground, eating it. You know how the icing on top is all shiny and it cracks as you bite into it. And there's that other kind of icing in the middle, and it sticks to your hand, and you can lick your fingers and lick your lips. Oh, it's lovely, yeah. Anyways, once we had this chocolate cake for tea, and later I went to bed. But while I was in bed, I found myself waking up, licking my lips and smiling. I woke up proper. The chocolate cake. It was it was the first thing I thought of. I could almost see it. So I thought, what if I go downstairs and have a little nibble? Yeah, it was all dark. Everyone was in bed, and I thought, what if I just crept out of door? There is always a creaky floorboard, isn't there? Past mom and dad's room. Careful not to tread on bits of broken toys or bits of Lego with your bare feet. Yo, shh. Downstairs, into the kitchen, open the cupboard, and there it is, all shining. So I take it out of the cupboard, I put it on the table, and I see that there's a few crumbs lying about on the plate. So I lick my fingers and run my fingers all over the crumbs and put them into my mouth. Nice. Then I look again, and on the side where it's been cut, it's all crumbly. So, so it takes. So I take a knife. I think I'll just tidy it up a bit. Tie that up a bit. Cut off. Cut off the crumbly bits. Scoop them all up and into the mouth. Yum, yum. Nice. Look at the cake again. That that looks a bit funny now. One side doesn't match the other. I'll just even it up a bit. Take a knife and slice. This time the knife makes a little cracking noise as it goes through that hard icing on top. A whole slice of that time into the mouth. The icing on top, and the icing in the middle. Oh, mm. But now I can't stop myself. Chuck, I just not take any old slice at it, and I've got this great big chunk, and I'm cramming it in. What a greedy big, but it's so nice. And there's another and another, and I'm squealing and I'm smacking my lips and I'm stuffing myself with it. And before I know, I'm eating a lot, the whole lot. I look at the plate, it's all gone. Oh no, there's bodies not to notice. Are they a whole chocolate cake doesn't just disappear, does it? What should I do? I know. I'll wash the plate up, and the knife and put them back in the cake. So I do that and creep, creep, creep back to bed, into bed, doze off, licking my lips with a lovely feeling in my belly. Goody, goody, goody. Hmm. In the morning, I get up, downstairs, have a breakfast. Mom's saying, "Have you got your dinner money?" And I say, "Yes." And don't forget to take some chocolate cake with you. I stopped breathing. "What's the matter?" she says. "You normally jump at chocolate cake." I'm still not breathing, and she's looking at me very closely now. She's looking at me. She's looking at me very closely now, just below my mouth. "What's that?" she says. "What's what?" I say. "What's that there?" "Where?" "There," she says, pointing at my chin. "I don't know," I say. "It looks like chocolate." She says, "It's not chocolate cake, is it?" No answer. No answer. Is it? I say, "Yes, it is." Middle bottom turns back to me. "It's gone. The chocolate cake. The chocolate cake is gone. You haven't eaten it, have you?" "I don't know," he said. "You don't know. You don't know if you were eating a whole chocolate cake or not. When did you eat it?" So I told her, and she said, "Well, what could she say? That's the last time I give you any cake to take to school. Now go get out." "No, wait, not before you've washed your dirty, sticky face." I went upstairs, looked at the mirror, and there it was just below my mouth. And chocolate smudge, the giveaway. Maybe she'll forget about it by the next week. Okay, this is the last page. Okay, next book. Okay, the next book it's history history of China. Okay, his his look closely. History of China. Okay, let's get into it. Just wait till it's downloaded. Okay, history of China. Let's get into it. History of China. China has a long and brilliant history. Its documented documented history is coherent for 3,000 years, and its uncondemned history is clearly inherited orally for 5 5,000 years. Our archae- archaeolog- archaeologi- archaeological discoveries can date back its history to 7,000 years and trace all stages of human development to 500,000 years. China's history and culture, together with her rivers and mountains, pose, poses infinite charm, which is also the soft power of China, right? In this book, in this book, we'll take a reader to a journey to into the Chinese history to visit the historic sites and ruins to meet the historic. Okay, let's go. Figures to feel the glory of history itself. Prologue. China has a long and brilliant history. Okay, that's the same one. Or China has a long and brilliant history. It's it's its documented history is current for 3,000 years, and its uncondemned history is clearly inherited orally for 5,000 years. Arch- archaeological, archaeological discoveries can date back in history to 7,000 years and trace all stages of humans' development to 5,000 years. Its history has never been interrupted or diminished, and it's cer- certainly not a civilization suddenly discovered after many decades or di- dynasties. Although China has gone through stagnation and aggression in the modern time, she nevertheless has been playing an important role at the heart of the world stage. Her history and culture, together with her rivers and mountains, possess infinite charm, which is also the soft power of China. The world has been observing the revival miracles of China for the past 30 years, at the same time paying more and more attention to China's unique history and culture. People try to find the historic origin of China's progress, and they try to find solutions and lessons to the Occident's decline. This dec- decline. The glory resides both in her history and her present. The world's spotlight her has focused on the ancient and young country. Thousands of foreign friends come to visit China to see her present and her past. They are attracted by her social development as well as by her beautiful landscapes. In the in the book, I will take the readers to the journey into the Chinese history to visit the historic sites and ruins, to meet the historic figures, to feel the glory of history itself. The relics include palaces, temples, mausoleums, ancient horsings, settles, sculptures, frescoes, fortifications, irrigations work, ancient roadways, and various arch sites and cultural races. They are scattered all over China's vast territory and, and, in this, and indicate different historical periods. They just about cover all the stages and dynast- dynasties of the Chinese history. They are located specifically near and around cities like Peking, Xi'an, Luoyang, Kaifeng, Nanjing, Hangzhou, Anyang, Chengdu, and Khufu. I have also included some very important works which weigh as much as the history sites and can be regarded as the starting point of a certain piece of history. At each historic site, there are often cultural relics from different times. For example, in Peking, there's a Zhoukoudian site from ancient time and ancient time, and there are also palaces of the Ming dynasty and the Qing dynasty. There is a great wall that was built in the Qing dynasty la- and lasted through the Ming dynasty till today. Around Cheyenne, there's a bamboo site from prehistory as well as mausoleums from the Qing dynasty and Han dynasty and palaces of the Han dynasty and Tang dynasty. These historic sites have becoming indispensable parts of Chinese landscape and famous touring sites. This book introduced the palaces and what happened at these palace places, introduced the places and what happened at the places in history at the same time. So it's historic touring guide and geographic history pamphlets, the characteristic differentiate differentiate it from general touring routes and is a good reference for a journey into the Chinese history. I have selected 20 some significant history sites to introduce through the connecting these sites. One one can find the outline of the Chinese history when we travel to a certain famous historic city. We can also recognize its positioning, and the role it played in history. Those was get an experience of cruising on the river of history. That let's just take a break from the book. Let's take a break. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Wow. Oh, I forgot to turn off the mic. nine, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one. Now let's continue reading books. Let's go. Let's find another book because the China one took me too long because my voice nearly. Next book, next book, next book. The next book is Just So Stories. Okay, this this literally took me 16 pages. Okay, everyone say hi YouTube if you're still in. Bro, I hate zero audience. What is literally going on? Yes, yes. How the whale got his throat. Okay. In the sea, once upon a time, oh my best beloved, there was a whale and he ate fishes. He ate the starfish and the garfish and the crab and the dab and the play place is place and the days and the skate and his mate and the mackerel and the pickerel and the really truly twirly whirly eel, all the fishes he could find in all the sea he ate with his mouth, so till at last there was only one small fish left in all the sea, and he was a small stewed fish, and he was swam a little behind the whale's right ear, so as to be out of harm's way. Then the whale stood up on his tail and said, I'm hungry. And the small stewed fish said in a small stewed voice, Noble and generous citizen, have you ever tasted man? No, said the whale. What is it like? Nice, said the small stewed fish. Nice but nubbly. Then fetch me some, said the whale. And he made the sea froth up with his tail. One at a time is enough, said the stewed fish. If you, if you swim to latitude 50 north, longitude 40 west, that is magical. You'll find sitting on a raft in the middle of the sea with I'm sorry, with nothing on but a pair of blue canvas breeches, a pair of suspenders. You must not forget the suspenders, best beloved, and the jackknife on shipwork Wrecked mariner, who is it only fair to tell you is a man of infinite resource and sagacity. So the whale swam and swam to latitude 50 north, longitude 40 west as fast as he could swim, and on a raft in the middle of the sea with nothing to wear except a pair of blue canvas breeches and pair of suspenders. You must particularly remember the suspenders best beloved, and a jackknife. He found one single solitary shipwrecked mariner trailing his toes in the water. He had his mummies leave the puddle, or else he would never have done it, because he was a man of infinity resource and sagacity. Then the whale opened his mouth back and back and back till it nearly touched his tail, and he swallowed it, the shipwrecker mariner, and the raft he was sitting on, and his blue canvas breeches and the suspenders, which you must not forget, and the jackknife. He swallowed them all down into his warm, dark inside cupboard, and then he smashed his lips so and turned round 3 times on his tail. But as soon as the mariner, who was a man of infinity resource and sagacity, found himself to remember that truly inside the whale's warm, dark inside cupboard, he stumped and he jumped and he stumped and he bumped and he prunged and he pranced and he danced and he banged and he changed and he hit and he bit and he leaped and he creeped and he prowled and he hauled and he hopped and he dropped and he cried and he sighed and he crawled and he bowled and he stepped and he leapt and he danced I'm sorry. He horned pipes where he shouldn't, and the whale felt most unhappy indeed. Have you forgotten the suspenders? So he said to the stewed fish, "This man is very nubbly, and besides, he's making me cough, cough. What should I do?" "Tell him to come out," said the stewed fish. So the whale called down his own throat to the shipwrecked mariner, "Come out and behave yourself." Got the hiccough. "Nay, nay," said the mariner, "not so far otherwise. Ta take me to my natal shore, and the white cliffs of Albion, and I'll think about it." And he began to dance more than ever. "You had better take him home," said the stewed fish to the whale. I I thought to have warned you that he is a man of the infinity resource and sagacity." So the whale swam and swam and swam. I'm sorry. So the whale swam and swam and swam with both flippers and his tail as hard as he could for hiccups. And at last he saw the mariner's natal shore and the white cliffs of Albion, and he rushed halfway up to the beach and opened his mouth wide and wide and wide and said, "Change here for Winchester, Ashelot, Nasha, Ni, Kini." Ignore that. Anyways, let's continue the story. And situation on the Fitchburg Road, and just as he said, Fitch, the mariner, walked out of his mouth. But while the whale had been swimming, the mariner, who was indeed a person of infinity resource and sagacity, had taken the jackknife and cut up the raft into a little square grat, all running crisscross, and he had tied it firm with his suspender. Now you know why you were why you were not to forget the suspenders. And he dragged that great great and good and tied into the whale's throat, and there is stuck. Then he recited the following sloka, which, as you have not heard it, will not pro- proceed to relate. By means of granting, I have stopped your your eating for the mariner. He was also an hibernian, and he stepped out on his shingle and went home to his mother, who has given him leave to trail his toes in the water, and he married and lived happily ever afterwards. So did the whale. So did the whale. But from that day on, the grating in his throat, which he could neither cough up nor swallow down, prevented him eating anything except very, very small fish. And that is the reason why whales nowadays never eat men or boys or little girls. That's funny, by the way. The small stewed fish went and hid himself in the mud under the door sills the equator. He was afraid that the whale might be angry with him. The sailor took the jackknife home. He was wearing the blue canvas breeches when he walked out to the shingle. The suspenders were left behind. You see, the tie, the grunt with end up of that tail. When the cabin portholes are dark and green because of the seas outside. When the ship when the ship goes whoop with the wick and wiggle between, and the and the stick and the steward falls into the soup turner, and the trunk begins to slide. When Norsie lies on the floor in a heap, and Mommy tells you to let her sleep, and you aren't waked or washed or dressed, why then you will know. Why? Then you will know, if you haven't guessed. You're 50 north and 40 west. Yep, that's the end of the whale story. How the camel got his hump. Now this is the next tale, and it tells how. That's the end of the stream. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.